Swimming like a shark in a shrimp tank. Big fish, small pond in the shrimp tank.
Hey everybody, welcome to our post-show wrap-up video here on the Central Pennsylvania Shrimp Tank, brought to you from our studio here in Dillsburg, Pennsylvania. I'm your host, Nathan Bowden, alongside wonderful co-host George Book, President and CEO of the West Shore Chamber of Commerce. And we just got done interviewing Matt and Cole, who are the founders and owners of Mellow Mink Brewery here in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. And as a reminder, you can catch a full replay of all our broadcasts on our website at shrimptankpodcast.com/centralpa. Also, if you're tuning in on Facebook or Instagram and you haven't clicked that like or follow button yet, please do so to stay up to date on all these interviews. And if you're a podcast listener, you can find us on any podcast app. Search for the Central PA Shrimp Tank. Click that follow button so you can stay up to date on all these interviews. And as I mentioned, we have Matt and Cole, again, the founders of Mellow Mink Brewery. I'll stop talking and I'll let you gentlemen introduce yourselves and introduce a little bit about the brewery first. So, Matt, you want to start?
Hi, I'm Matt. I'm a co-owner and head brewer at Mellow Mink.
And I'm Cole. I'm the other owner as well as a bartender at Mellow Mink.
So we, on the full podcast, we talked about really the I call it longer version of the history of how it all got started, and the long process of home brewing, and then the long process of from really thought of let's do this to actual implementation. But I want you to give this from start, give a little background on when you opened up and what the business looks like right now.
Sure. We opened at late 2018, and our business is a boutique brewery in Mechanicsburg. We have a focus on a variety of craft beers. One of our specialties is sour beers, and we also offer a well-rounded cocktail and cider menu.
Awesome.
Yeah, and in addition, just most of our beers rotate fairly routinely. We do a lot of what we call small batch beers, so different ideas that we kind of come up with that then will rotate out through the week just to continue to offer you guys something new and exciting.
That's really cool.
Very cool.
Do you have staple beers that are pretty well consistently on your menu, and then some that you rotate around, or are they all rotating and floating?
We rotate most of our individual recipes, but we do stick to, we have series that return or stay consistent. We have a series called Super Fruit that is like a highly fruited, sour, tart, kind of more wine-like beer that the fruits change, but the essence of that series remains the same. Some of our IPA series are the same way. We do a rotating series of milkshake IPAs and New England IPAs, things like that.
Very cool.
Awesome.
And I know we talked a lot more about, on the full podcast, your thought process into why you've created what you created. And again, if you didn't listen to it yet, when it's live, it'll be live in about a week. You got to listen to the whole story because there's a long history there, and really was born out of partially what you want in a brewery, but more about what you didn't want in a brewery, and then maybe the things that weren't as ideal. So, and maybe Cole, you tackled this one pretty heavily before on the show. So why don't you talk about what it is that you've really tried to create that's different when people walk into Mellow Mink versus maybe other breweries?
Sure. So our goal is just, in a nutshell, to be a welcoming, casual atmosphere that also maintains a sense of elegance to kind of help elevate the craft beer movement and just present the beers nicely. But it is, like I said, it is casual. We're a small business that does pride itself on developing rapport with our customers and continue to welcome you back.
And one of the things you mentioned was you were not that you don't like beer or don't like craft beer, but that's not your primary choice personally, but Matt does. That's one of his passions. And you felt like you would go to breweries and there wasn't really anything that catered to that side of the drink lover. You certainly enjoy alcohol to certain
Sure.
respects, but that was a big part of why you've added other types of drinks to your menu.
Yeah, and with that, we also, in addition to beer, we also do cocktails and cider, just to help round out the menu and provide a little bit of something for everyone.
Yeah, yeah.
I think one of the things too that makes you guys unique is bring your own food, right? So you guys are concentrating, and we talked about this a little on the podcast, is you're concentrating on that thing in which you are most passionate about and really want to put forth the best effort, which is the drinks. And so can you talk a little bit about how that sort of came to be as you're sort of planning this? Because you think most places, if you're going to have a drink, you need to have food with it. How did that sort of different for you guys?
Our mindset was just, we wanted to stick with what we knew and where our heart was. And that was, for us, that was not food. We wanted to be able to focus on the beverage, specifically craft beer, and be able to expand upon that without having this whole other animal that needs a lot of attention as well. And just, if I really feel you stick with what you know and you go with what you're passionate about.
Sure.
Because if you don't, I feel more commonly will come off as half-baked.
Yeah.
And that's what I did not want it to be.
Sure.
And you've mentioned you have, do you have any partnerships with food establishments, in whether it's formal or informal, to be able to provide food while people are there?
So that is something, obviously people still did want food. We all need to eat. But Cork and Fork up the road will deliver for free.
Oh, wow, that's really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, awesome. Well, for everybody who's watching here who has not heard about you potentially yet, but is really interested in good craft beer, good drinks, and again, if you didn't listen to you haven't listened to it yet, but when you do, the atmosphere, the culture, the just difference of what it feels like when you walk into Mellow Mink versus other places, what's the best way for them to learn about you guys and then really experience Mellow Mink?
You can look us up on Instagram or Facebook. Our Instagram handle is @MellowMinkBeer, or our website is www.mellowmink.com.
And then physical location?
We're located on the Carlisle Pike in the Hampton Center at 4830 Carlisle Pike, Mechanicsburg.
Awesome. And we'll have that information in our show notes, and make sure everybody has that as well, so you can find that through this. But Matt, Cole, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for not being afraid to do something different, to kind of challenge, I would say, the norms that are out there, and creating something really cool and unique. Genuinely say this, we've been able to experience our staff. We've been there a few times, and it is definitely unique, and I love the idea of what you've put together and really focusing on the experience, a family feel to it, and you feel like you are actually experiencing something cool rather than just something massive, and getting your enjoyment from that. So thank you guys so much. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thanks for being willing to come on the show and give us some of the insight into what all it took to get all this started.
Sure, of course.
And here's to many more years ahead, I believe, right? If we had a beer, I'd say cheers to that, but we don't. We can do maybe an air cup or something. But again, everybody at home, if you're tuning in, you haven't gone there yet, go to the Hampton Center, the Hampton Plaza, check them out. A great place. They got great drinks and great atmosphere. If you're lucky and you come on the right night, you may even get this guy to serve your drink for you. So look forward to that as well. Guys, thanks again so much. Everybody at home, be sure to like and share this video if you like what we're doing. Push out the message of the Shrimp Tank and Mellow Mink to all your friends and family, so we can spread these message all across Central PA and beyond. We'll see you on another episode of the Central PA Shrimp Tank.
I've been feeling like a shark in a shrimp tank. Big fish, small pond.